The LA Rams, they seem to have the injuries just seem to be mounting up. Matthew Stafford did return to practice, I believe,
today.
Yep. He returned to practice today. Just what are you making? Are they in trouble with all these injuries? Do you think some of them are just, hey, the season's coming up, let's just hold you back a little bit? Kind of the way it seems like Harbaugh's kind of handling it, where it's like, hey, you feel something, just sit out, relax. Or what are you making of all these injuries?
No, I think it's exactly what you just said. I think most of them are minor, and they just want to make sure that those guys stay healthy for the start of this season. I think that's what they're doing with Puka. Jonah Jackson actually returned to practice and did some individual work. He's been dealing with a shoulder issue. I believe the 2 tackles have ankle issues, but I think they're minor, and they're hopeful that both those guys can get back. Alaric Jackson, left tackle, and Havestein, the right tackle. I believe those are the main ones. I think Ernest Jones has been out too, the middle linebacker. I can't remember Ernest's injury, but I think the thought is that he's going to be back for week 1 as well. So I think, when you're dealing with McVay, he's all about guys getting to week 1 healthy. He doesn't play his starters during preseason. He will give them some run during joint practice. But if there's any kind of possibility that something can be made worse by getting out there, he's going to err on the side of caution and hold guys out. And that's why he held Matthew out with the hamstring issue. He just was being extra cautious.
Eric, I think we asked you maybe a month ago how you felt about the Rams, and I think it felt like you're okay with them, being a wild card team or maybe getting 10 wins. Now a month later, thinking about the injuries, thinking about Matthew Stafford's contract dilemma. It feels like it's one more year, and then let's see how it goes, or we'll just break up and go our separate ways. Sometimes that could be a little concerning when you have some kind of drama behind the scenes. And also the big thing that I feel like a lot of people are overlooking, or maybe you're not, but the Aaron Donald thing. Like, how do you adjust without Aaron Donald? And also, can you have some guys step up in the secondary and stay healthy? You got some older guys there. Like, I keep going back and forth. Like, I like the Rams one day I don't, and then I see a bunch of injuries happening, and then I see guys coming back, and I'm like, okay, maybe they'll be fine. But I guess for you, how do you feel maybe a month or less for the season?
Daniel's not a fan of the Rams going into this season, by the way.
No surprise.
We talked about that.
Oh, okay. Is that in the book?
That'll be in the book, yes. Be a lot of 4-letter words that can't be printed. I know you mentioned the Aaron Donald thing, but I actually think they look okay up front when you watch them. When you watch Kobe Turner and Byron Young and Braden Fisk, who they drafted in the second round, and Jared Verse, they look like they can get after the quarterback. I would be interested to see how they stop the run, because I do think at times at joint practice, the Cowboys were able to run the ball on them.
Yep.
And so I think that's a concern. Their front seven and being able to consistently stop the run without Donald there. And then I still have concern with the cornerbacks. With those guys being a little bit older and how they're going to hold up for the duration of the season. I feel like the Rams, their starters are pretty good, but I don't know about the depth behind those starters. And like you talked about, and I think that's why they're being really cautious about, starters getting dinged up and not getting them out there, is because they know their depth behind them is not as good. So if they lose those guys, particularly Stafford, if Stafford is done. I mean, I love Jimmy G, but I don't see that, happening for them being a 10-11 win team if Stafford's not able to play a bulk of the season.
Hey, Fernand's going to like Jimmy G in a year after he goes to the Sean McVay school of quarterbacks. He goes somewhere else. He's going to love Jimmy G.
I don't know about all that. By the way, I did like what Jimmy G did that day that we were at practice, Gilbert.
I know you did. You kept talking about it.
Yeah. I told you about that, right?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I don't know about Eric.
Oh, there was a interesting fan that was in the stands, and the fan asked, "Can you sign my son's stuff?" She's like, "Jimmy," or the person was like, "Jimmy, Jimmy." He turns, looks, and then kind of looks, and then double takes and goes, "Oh, I got you." After practice, he goes, "That's the only person that he signed her, or whoever it was." the individuals.
Let's say it was a hot mom, Fernando. It's okay.
Yeah. No, she was. Yeah,
That's
no,
easy
she
on the
was.
eyes,
So,
huh?
yeah. So he signed his stuff and then walked away. I was like, God bless Jimmy G.
He did it for the kid. Come on, Fernando.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, he did a great job, great service. It's all about them kids. But Eric, could this be a situation of you keep the picks, or do you think the Rams may be close? Like if they have the okay from Aaron Donald about, hey, if you guys are close, we'll come back. I'll come back. Do you think this could be a situation of F them picks, or do you feel like this could be like Sean McVay for the future wants to keep his picks and keep on building this team, especially with the NFC is kind of has a question mark. It seems like the AFC has like the upper echelon, the middle of the pack, stuff like that. It feels like the NFC is kind of the 49ers have dominated it for the last few years, but it feels like it's more open.
I think the Rams are about winning. And so whatever is best for, putting together a team that can win a Super Bowl, I think they're willing to do it. So I think if they get to a deadline and they need an impact player like they did in the past a couple of years ago by bringing Von Miller in, and they think that will put them over the top, I think they would move picks to do that if they believe that they have a shot of winning a Super Bowl and they're a player or two away. I don't think they are a player or two away, but I don't think this organization is concerned about taking risk. If they believe that there's a payoff there at the end. I think Gil could speak to that because he covered the Rams as well and has seen how they've done transactions in order to put themselves in position to be successful.
Even the whole Stafford situation where they wouldn't give him another extension because they want to keep their options open because they like to be flexible and make moves whenever the opportunity comes up for them. But to move on, Fernando, hopefully you don't mind if I take over this one, or you want to ask something else?
No, I just wanted to ask you one real quick. When he traded for Matthew Stafford, him and Matthew Stafford were at the same resort, right? And Jared, like Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford were at the same resort, and then obviously Goff was wherever the hell he was. Was that true?
No, that was true. I think they were in Cabo. Just coincidence.
Yeah.
Coincidence.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, coincidence.